Welcome back into the QB Huddle Podcast. Tim Smith, joined by my podcast partner, Brandon Newey.
What's good, world?
We are here to talk all things quarterback all season long. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share button, like button, get involved, comment. But Brandon, let's get into this. We have started to touch on college football a little bit here and there. Particularly going to talk about the guys that we expect to come into the league next year. So what did you see this last weekend in college football?
Whew. The arrival of Arch Manning.
Oh, my goodness. Yes,
now,
sir.
I get it. It wasn't the best team they played against, but Ewer suffered a rib injury. He stepped in. Absolutely magic. 5 touchdowns. What was it, 5 passing touchdowns, or was it 4?
I think it was 5 and a run, or it was 4 and a
6
run.
touching. Yeah.
Whatever it was.
5 or 6.
It was a lot.
Touchdowns, right? Had a 65-yard touchdown run. Who knew he could run like that? He got it from his grandpa, Archie.
Yeah. Well, he ran like that in high school, so you had to
that's high school, though. I feel like a lot of quarterbacks can do that, but Manning showed great poise. He stepped in. It looked like the offense didn't miss a beat. In fact, it looked like it picked up a little bit. Now, as you were still the guy, absolutely. Let's not make that. But it's good to have, the guy sitting in the rear view here like, hey, I'm ready to roll just in case, your rib is okay, right? If it's not, then, it's time to fly. So I think Arch Manning did really well. I was very impressed with him. Another guy was Shedeur Sanders just bouncing back. Now, I know, Colorado, we're not expecting 10, 11 wins, but it's just good to see how they responded to adversity, especially with an in-state rival. You come out on the road, 4 touchdowns. It looked very well. It looked very well put together as far as the game plan. You finally rushed for over 100 yards. You were getting rid of the ball very quick. I didn't like what you did in the post game. You're a quarterback, man, but understand this. Like, he's a dog, but let's pump the brakes. We still got some room. You guys go face Baylor, so still rooting on Colorado. Not done with you yet. I don't think I'll ever be because I'm a Prime fan. But just wanted to see you guys compete, man. That's about it. What about you, Tim?
All right. Loved what we saw out of Texas. They're my second favorite college team. So I think for Texas to have 2 of probably the best quarterbacks in the country on their team, they are set for a while at quarterback. It's almost not fair, but credit to Arch for sticking it out. I think he, between a couple weeks ago, he came in and played and lit it up when he stepped on the field. He lit it up this weekend. He could play for any team in the country. I mean, Michigan would take him right now. I promise you that. We don't have a quarterback. But kudos to him for sticking it out and letting himself kind of mature in that system and learn under Quinn Ewers. They have a great relationship. So not good to see him hurt. I think he's going to be okay. It's kind of a minor little rib injury. It appears to be. So I'm sure he's going to be fine. Ewers and Arch will go back to the bench, but maybe not for a week or 2. Let him play, right? Let that heal up until it's Texas OU weekend maybe. So I love seeing Arch. Shedeur, yes, good to see him back playing well. Again, he's a guy that's starting to remind me a little bit of Caleb with, a lot of what he does is off platform. He's not doing a lot of stuff in rhythm. He is a playmaker, and he likes to show us that. Hated the post-game stuff. You mentioned it.
You don't say that, man. You can say it at the party.
Yeah, you
can say it at the party if you run into him.
At least shake the guy. The guy was talking about you all week. That's fine. He was talking smack. Guess what?
Sure.
Nobody talks more smack than Colorado. So if you're going to give it, you got to be able to take it. And at the end of the game, when he's a grown man enough in the loss after talking all that smack on Instagram, I guess it was, to come up and put his hand out to shake your hand, you got to be man enough to shake his hand. I mean, it's football. You're talking a little bit. That's the nature of it. But shake his hand. He came out, he lost the game, came out, manned up, and you treated him like that. It's hard to watch sometimes. And it comes from Dion. I mean, listen to Dion in the post game, talking about how he doesn't understand where they get off talking to his kids and where do they get off talking smack to, Travis Hunter. That's Travis Hunter. Hey, man, if you're going to dish it out, you're going to have to take it. Everyone talks smack.
But I don't really think Travis talks.
No, but listen,
I don't think he does, but it's like
Travis is a good guy.
Do you really see that though?
One guy did like a little thing to him, right, where he
called
said
him baby. I'm like,
I mean, okay,
Travis Hunter.
you can't be mad at that. You can't get mad at it.
No,
it
it's competition, man.
Come
It's
on.
competition, and I just think they're in the media so much that
they're
really
in the media
just hard.
so much.
You
So
know,
that's
it's hard.
what you're
It's hard to
gonna get
overcome that, right?
every single week. But yeah, we definitely saw some good stuff. Quinn's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I think if Shador can grow up a little bit, he'll be a good NFL quarterback. Yes, I'm excited for Quinn to come into the league. I'm very excited for Ewers to come into the league. We got a big matchup this weekend, folks. And this is the last that we'll talk about college. But for the first time in I don't even know how many years, and for the first time ever in the Big House, USC travels cross country to come play some real football against the Michigan Wolverines.
Some real football.
That's right. This is Big Ten. This is speed against power. I don't think either team has a really good quarterback necessarily. I don't know much about USC's quarterback, so I don't.
You're gonna find out.
This is going to be an issue for Michigan. I think we're going to welcome you to the Big Ten with a nice smackadoo because we got to come off a big loss to Texas and a subpar performance this past weekend to Arkansas State. So I'd be worried about a very hungry Michigan team if I were you.
You better show up with another quarterback because if that's what you're putting out there, that ain't going to work against this team, brother. This team can score. This team can score. Yeah, I know you don't even believe that. I don't really know about this quarterback. Hey, you're going to know about him. Miller Moss. Let's go.
It's gonna
lock
be
in, young man.
I'm afraid. This is
lock
the wrong
in, young
year.
man.
This is the wrong year for the Wolverine to be playing all these
blowout.
teams.
Blowout. Nah, I don't know about that. I can't even say that with a straight face. Look, I mean, you're going into hostile territory. Now, granted, it is a 2:30 game, which definitely helps. They're not used to playing, early games. I think that really plays a role. Miller Moss and that offense look really good. That defense looks really good. We haven't had this type of defense in a very long time. I think the last time we played you guys, we blew the doors off of you.
Well, you're lucky it's not an 11 a.m. start.
I know. I'm really
Central
excited
time.
about that.
I'm
excited.
It's not a noon game. It's a 2:30 Central game, which makes it 3:30 Eastern game.
Right.
I think that's 1:30 in the afternoon for USC. Is that right? So they should be fine with that.
They're 3 hours behind.
And it's not cold yet.
So that really helps, right? I think the only two cold games we're going to face is Maryland at Maryland and at Minnesota. I think that's a trap game at Minnesota.
That's cold.
I really do. It's going to be in October. I'm like, man, I don't know.
It's freezing cold.
But it is. They haven't given the times yet, so we don't know. But, hey, big matchup, man. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it, but
you'll be on a plane coming back.
I do hope we kick that door in and into the big house and make it happen. So this is our moment.
When your plane lands, you'll know what's going on in the game because either you'll have a bunch of text messages for me or you'll have 0 text messages for me. So if you haven't heard from me, USC is doing just fine.
Listen, I don't have any high expectations for this team. I just want you to compete. But, granted, the schedule really does play in our favor considering you don't have to travel to the East Coast with the cold games. I mean, you got a lot of tough teams that are going to go to your place, so you feel a little bit better about it. So we'll see what happens.
All righty. Well, we will see at 2:30 Saturday Central Time.
But before we dive into the recap, shout out to my former college team. Nobody really knows them, but University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond. They beat the number 2 team in the country on Saturday night, Central Missouri.
Congratulations.
The former Harlan Hill, which is the Heisman Trophy of Division II. Man, they look good, man. I'm so darn proud of them. It looked really good. The stadium's changed. Yeah, man, they look real nice. Put up 57 points on them. I'm like, we got something here. Right. So hopefully they can continue to have that dominant path they're on. So kudos to them, man. But let's dive into this recap, man. I'm hurt. Right. Are you hurt? I mean, I'm hurt a little bit, but not really.
I'm not that hurt.
I'm okay.
It's not completely unexpected what happened to the Cowboys or the Bears this weekend. I can't really say I'm hurt. Why don't you get into it first? You had the early game. And by the way, I said I was going to go to Nashville. We didn't end up going to Nashville. We had saw there was going to be bad storms. It never stormed there after all, but we ended up going to Houston, and we got to see the Bears play down in Houston last night. But I had the Aaron jersey on because Aaron Rodgers got his first win as a New York Jet, and I feel like we should clap it up for him. I'm going to clap it up because I don't care about the Titans. I'm excited. Aaron Rodgers gets a win, 2 tutties yesterday. But talk about it, man. Talk about that Titans-Jets game. What did you see? Why are the Titans 0-2? What's going on?
Well, there's one guy to blame, and it's Will Levis. And I think defensively they do a good job. I think we got a good run game. I think we sustained drives very well. I mean, it was pretty much even for the whole time. But the turnovers kill you, and the turnovers generated points for the Jets. Will Levis, I love his confidence, but I feel he really needs to tone it back a little bit, right? We know the capabilities you have with your intangibles, actually not intangibles, with your skill set. I don't really think you have any intangibles right now. I haven't really seen that yet, but man, you had 2 crucial turnovers. You know, the head coach walks over to him. What in the F are you doing? Like, I mean, that paints a bad picture.
That's not good.
I think, the backup Mason Rudolph, I don't think he's the answer, but I think he'd probably keep it tight a little bit. But we did see an emergence of Calvin Ridley, which was good. That was a good sign. D-Hop was getting involved, but man, you just got to pull back Will Levis, man. I think that Titans defense is really good.
It is.
And, they held Aaron Rodgers under 200 yards, which, that does say something, especially when he throws it that many times, because most of the time, he's just kind of dinking and dunking. I mean, Aaron Rodgers still has that arm, and that hasn't left. But Will Levis, man, I don't think he's a guy. I think we will forever be cursed as an organization for the Titans because of what they did to McNair.
And you say it all the time, so
we haven't looked good since it. I mean, look at it. Go back with all the quarterbacks, minus Vince Young. I thought Vince Young did really well, but Jeff Fisher screwed him up mentally, but it didn't help with his attitude either. So hopefully they'll turn it around. What about your Bears?
So here's the thing about the Bears.
You saw them live.
It's not all doom and gloom. Their defense is really, really good. CJ Stroud had a good night. I wouldn't say he had a great night. I saw he had stretches where he really struggled. That second half, the defense really put the clamps on the Texans. So I felt like the defense looked great. Special teams, they have a punter, right? Their punter, Torrey Taylor from Australia, I believe. This guy kicks the skin off the ball, man. He kicked the ball so high and so far every single time that he had to go in there and punt. He was flipping field position. He's the reason, a big part of the reason the defense looked as good as they did, because he continued to flip field position. But let's get into Caleb and this offense. First of all, I don't know what the Bears are trying to do offensively. There was no rhythm. There was no real concentration on trying to run the ball. When they did run the ball, they weren't very successful. But they didn't really attempt to push the run game at all. They weren't very creative in their play calling. They ran a lot of little bubble screens that, were just getting blown up by the second quarter. You have a very frustrated receiver core. You can see that. I think Keenan Allen not being in there last night probably didn't help. But he has no time to throw the ball, Caleb. He's getting pressured from everywhere. And when he does have time, he's cement feet for some reason. I did see him escape the pocket a few times, but you're expecting some of these splash plays, right? And I think he's trying to stay in the pocket, and he's just sitting there. And I saw him just stare down receivers and get, there was one time, it's been all over ESPN today, but his right tackle gets beat, and he's just staring, looking left. Feet not moving at all, just complete statue, and he gets blasted in the back by the defensive end. And it's like, you can't have that happen. I know he's a rookie. I think the game's really fast. We saw flashes in preseason, but I did not see one flash last night. Not one play that made me go, oh, that's right. He is really special. He was just kind of throwing the ball last night. He threw some really bad interceptions. And his attitude coming off the field, Brandon, that you don't get to see watching it on TV, discouraging. Not talking to his receivers when things go bad. When he throws a pick, he kind of walks off and sits by himself, puts his head down. At one point, Woods wanted nothing to do with him. He wanted to talk to Badgett. He didn't even want to go near Williams because he had missed him so badly on 2 or 3 throws in a row. It's bad. It's bad in Chicago offensively right now as a whole. So that's my take. Texans do what the Texans do. They looked okay. Defense looks okay, but when CJ was on, he was on. But the defense, I thought, for the Bears is going to be fine, but if they don't find some offense soon, it could be a very long season for Chicago. And it's not just Caleb, but he's a big part of it.
I've always said this about Caleb. He doesn't throw in rhythm enough for me to be convinced. It's going to be a while. The game looks very fast. He's checking the ball. He was efficient for a little bit, and then, the further you get out when you got to throw in the teeth of the defense, I mean, he did have those muddy feet, and I think he needs to do a better job of communicating with his guys. I mean, you see a lot of his body language is very negative.
It was.
I think every time he went 3 and out, he pointed on the ground with his little mouthpiece. Like, come on, man. Like, first off, either you put the mouthpiece in or you take it out. No diddy. Now,
it's not college anymore.
like, this isn't college anymore. All that crap, you got to get rid of the ball on time,
he
young
also
man.
wasn't good with the play clock.
Timing. Yes.
A lot of times he was begging for the ball. And that's not just him, but they got a delay of game, Brandon, coming out of a timeout.
Right.
You can't have that.
Well, here's also the thing, too. Out of 48 dropbacks Caleb had, he was pressured 36 times.
Yeah, the O-line is
That is not good. However,
not holding
he's
up.
not throwing in rhythm enough. He
He's
doesn't
not.
throw on time. You've got to throw on time. The average time for a quarterback in the NFL is within that 2.5 to about a 3.2 at best, right? Anything after that, it's chaos, man. You're going to have to make chicken salad out of chicken you know what. But Caleb has got to focus. He has got to get with his guys. He has got to understand how they run routes. He has got to communicate as much as possible, even over communicate. That is extremely important for a rookie quarterback. Yeah. You see the struggles that you see with Bryce Young. And they continue, okay? Even if you have veteran receivers. Oh, man. And, I think of right now, I think Caleb is he's just going through that growing process. He's talented. Yeah. He's talented, but he realizes that D-line is just as fast as you, man. You're not as quick as you thought you were. Like, he's not as very
especially gifted like Justin Fields was. As far as
not with the speed, right?
And, as a Bears fan, and you got to feel some of this as a Titans fan with Malik Willis going and getting a win at Green Bay yesterday. Man, I'm looking at Justin Fields at 2-0 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But we let him go, and we wanted the next new shiny toy, and the next new shiny toy is the instructions are a little crinkled, and we're having a hard time figuring them out right now. So it's going to take us a little while to put this new shiny toy together.
Right.
And so that's just what it is. But let's talk about the big heartbreak of the day, not for me, but for you. Because the 49ers went into Minnesota where you're supposed to win. Sam Darnold is the quarterback, not J.J. McCarthy. You're supposed to win that game. You have big bad number 13 Brock Purdy. You have the 49ers, Debo, and you have Brandon Ayuk, and you have the 49er defense, and you just went to the Super Bowl, and you went and laid an egg in Minnesota. Talk about it.
I wouldn't think we laid an egg in Minnesota. I mean, if you know your history, we haven't won in that place since 1992.
That's not my history. That's your history.
Well, I mean, for us to just say we laid an egg is absolute dog water. In fact,
hit a button.
Well, the thing that really stood out to me, and this has been a common theme, and maybe it's play calling, maybe it's being too predictable, but we were 2 and 10 on third down. 2 and 10. That's not good.
Can't win that way.
That's not good at all, brother. At all.
That's one thing Brock was good at last year.
He was. But again, it's not all on Brock. I mean, Brock was 77% completion over 300 yards, leads the league in yards. However, okay, there's some things that he's got to clean up, but this is a 3-year guy. This is year 3 for him. You know what I mean? So it's more like, okay, you still haven't seen anything, everything yet, but that scheme versus Kyle Shanahan gives him fits. Those defensive backs, the safeties especially, they're one of the few safeties that I've seen that can really cover. Like, they really cover. I mean, we couldn't get off of press man coverage at all. He does a lot of type of blitzes. Did they give the formula, like the blueprint to beat the Niners? Yes, but how many teams are really built that way? Not a lot, right? Where you can just be overly aggressive and play that scheme. We have to do a better job of separating in man coverage. Brandon Ayuk, I need you to undo your locks and have the locks hanging out, because this other tied up guy, with your braids, that ain't it, brother. We paid you $30 million. It's straight BS is what I call it. It's BS. One thing I could attest to, a CD Lamb like your guy, man, he shows up. First game, he was in there.
Yeah.
BA has not showed up at all since he's been in here. It's not good. Trent Williams is overweight right now. I've never seen him this top heavy, right? We didn't run the ball the way we needed to, even though Jordan Mason did run for over 100 yards. Kyle being Kyle, man. Kyle, to me, is our weakest link. I don't care what anybody says. He is our weakest link when it comes to playing down. Anytime we play down, you are 1-28.
Wow.
That's not good, man. It's not good. Kyle's the weakest link. I've been saying it forever, man. I've been saying it forever. It's not our talent. It's our scheme and the way we try to do things on certain crucial situations. We need to get BA involved more. We need to get his confidence up more. There's a lot of things that I can go to, but most people will try to say, oh, you can't pay Brock this money. No, you can't. You better not pay him that much money because you're going to deplete your team. But that's not to say that he's not worth it, because some of these other quarterbacks that are getting paid the bag, I mean, I don't even know what to say about those guys, but I'm sure you got a lot to say about that new $60 million guy, which I love you guys signed, man. But what happened?
Oh, man. Look, I'm not.
You got penny rolled. We lost by 6.
I'm not going to go completely.
How embarrassing.
Okay.
At home? 16-game win streak?
Okay, come on.
Oh, talk about it. I'm going to put myself on mute. I want to hear this.
It's bad. The whole team bad. Defense gave up 432 yards on just 56 plays, while the Cowboys, they only had 353 yards on 66 plays. So it's not like the Saints were just holding on to the ball. They were having chunk plays. They were getting big plays. They got a lot of their numbers early in the game because they went up big early, right? They put this thing to bed pretty quick. They were 5 for 8 on third down. Cowboys were 6 for 13. Cowboys were 1 and 3 in the red zone. Guess what? The Saints were 0 for 0 in the red zone. They never even got to the red zone because they were scoring from way out there. Here's the biggest problem. Outside of the defense just being completely trash, front 7, back 5, everything terrible. They couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the nosebleed. Dak threw the ball 39 times, basically 40 times. Guess what Dak's record is when he throws the ball 40 times? 8 and 16. My man is not meant to throw the ball that many times. He just isn't. He is not a carry the load type of quarterback. And the problem is we're not running the ball. We're not setting Dak up for success. We're not setting up play actions. We're not able to set up the little play action boot where we hit the tight end that he loves so much, because we're not running the ball, and we're not running the ball well when we do try to run the ball, which isn't very often. We're putting a lot on Dak's shoulders, and our defense, is just out there getting mollywopped. And until the defense can stop somebody, I said this earlier. We were a 9, maybe 10 win team this year. I'm not backing off from that. The O-line is down, and it looks like we lost another one yesterday. The defense, I told you there was questions with the interior, with the linebackers, with the secondary. It showed up yesterday with a good offense that came in here that was humming in week 1, and they're one of the only offenses that look good 2 weeks in a row.
15 for 15 possessions, 15 touchdowns. Wow.
We look great against Cleveland, but Cleveland's not a very good team, and I think that's been figured out. So, it's kind of I didn't expect to get just embarrassed at home like that. I expected to fight. I didn't see any fight out of anybody the whole day. And
maybe it was one of those games that just got away too fast.
It got away fast. It was all bad things, right? We couldn't sustain a drive on offense, and then we couldn't stop them on defense, and then it just became a vicious circle of getting our ass kicked. So
it sounds like both of our teams struggle offensively right now. So they're definitely
struggling right now.
Yeah, that's what not playing in the preseason does to you.
You got to play in the preseason, man.
It's a lot of bad football being played right now, in my opinion. But
it's a fact. Tom Brady said it a couple weeks ago.
I guess I just listened to just one podcast only and not take my own opinion. I mean, I definitely know what my eyes see. It's a ton of shitty football right now. Absolutely dog water right now. Like, the product isn't as good as it needs to be. These guys are holding out for, big paydays. And I mean, I get it, man. But, when you sign the deal, and I'm speaking to BA specifically, when you sign the deal, mother sucker, you better turn up and show them why you're that dude. Because right now, you are not even a receiver 1. You are a receiver 2. And I've said this since day 1. We have 2 receiver 2s. The best player right now, receiver on our team, is third in Juwan Jennings. Because that connection with him and Brock Purdy is scary. Because he's always looking for him. Kittle shows up, but these other 2 guys, I mean, Debo did good, but we know Debo's not a true receiver 1, right? He did what he was supposed to do. But BA, man, you got to drop your nuts, man. This is ridiculous.
Back to the 49ers.
Yeah, man, made me mad, man. He made me mad. I'm just tired of this crap, man. Defense can only hold on so much, man. And shout out to Sam Darnold. Shout out to XO's team. Man, y'all did good, man. Y'all did good. Sam, I'm happy for Sam. As a USC Trojan fan, I am happy for Sam because I kept saying there's going to be some point where Sam's going to do Sam things. He had one hiccup, but 97-yard touchdown pass, man.
Yeah, he did pretty good yesterday.
He did really good, man. He did really good. But, hey, offense, like old Coach Bigger said, do better. Fix it.
All of them.
Fix it.
Speaking of bad offense and bad quarterback play, let's talk about these rookies for a minute.
Oh, Lord.
We talked about Caleb. In 2 weeks, he's been 37 for 66, 56% completion percentage, 267 yards only through the air. No touchdowns, no interceptions. His longest pass play, 27 yards. Jaden Daniels, 40 of 53, 75%, much better
really
completion
good.
percentage. 410 yards, much better yardage. Still no touchdowns, no interceptions though. He's protected the ball. His longest pass play is 37 yards. Far and away, he's the best rookie quarterback that we've seen this year so far because Bo Nix has been absolutely terrible. 46 of 77, 59%, 384. Longest play is 49 yards, but here's the problem. No touchdowns, that's fine. None of them have thrown a touchdown yet. He's got 4 interceptions, does Bo Nix. He is not taking care of the football. The Broncos are 0-2 because of it. Both Caleb and Jaden are 1-1. My thought is that Jaden's the shining out of the 3, but all 3 of them look pretty mid right now to me, to poor. Where are you at with the 3 rookies right now?
Man, this is just growing pains. I think, physically they all have the ability. I think the arm they all have the ability. When you get drafted to questionable teams, you're going to struggle. Nobody thought you were just going to be amazing. But, 0 touchdowns and 6 interceptions through 2 weeks, which Bo Nix has 75% of them.
4.
Right now, man, you just got to figure it out, man. You guys are going through it. We're not going to just absolutely crush you because it's a growing process, man. Everybody goes through it. Majority do. And you just got to find a way to, overly communicate and be more in sync with your teammates. Jaden Daniels, slide, bro. You're not going to make it past week 5 if you continue to run the way you do. You cannot do that and think it's going to be sustainable.
3 big ones, yeah.
Caleb Williams, throw the ball in rhythm. 3, hitch right off that step, let it fly. Bo Nix, I'm not going to lie, I don't watch too many Bronco games, but I saw what you did with the media. Hey, man, that's not going to be your first pick, right? You take some ownership. Talk them through the play. Why did you make a dumb throw, right? Throw the ball away. In red zone, we can't take those turnovers, right? So they're going through growing pains. I don't really have too much to dive into. I just think right now, let it play out, man. It's unfortunate they can't sit behind a savvy vet to really just learn how to be an NFL player. But I think Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, has really done well. It's just we got to find a way to get you in the end zone to score points. That's all it is.
I think the difference between Jaden and the other 2, although Bo's a good runner, but the running quarterback isn't really a big part of a Sean Payton type of offense. I think Jaden's ability to escape is at a higher level than Caleb and Bo, and so I think that's helping him.
He moves,
more
man.
improvement.
He can
Defenses
float.
have to play him a little differently, and he's able to get a lot of more underneath throws. I saw last night, the Bears are getting man coverage, and they're blitzing the shit out of Caleb. I'm sorry. Caleb was limping off the field by the second quarter. You know what I mean?
He'll pick it up, man. He's just going through growing pains. They all do.
He was, and that's what defenses are going to do at this level. They're going to figure out where you struggle, and they're going to take advantage of it. They're mixing up coverages. They're zone blitzing you. You know, they're trapping them into interceptions, and they're doing the same thing to Bo Nix. So far, I think the escapability and the legs of Jaden Daniels is really setting him apart. But if he doesn't protect himself, that will go away.
Right. Now, these other QBs, right, I mean, we're giving the rookie some grace, but these other QBs that we're about to mention, I don't know if there's any more grace here.
Relax or panic.
Relax or panic. There's six franchise QBs, 2 of them, I get you're in your second year. Okay, we understand that part, right? But these other guys, former MVPs, former Super Bowl champ, former number 1 picks. Let's talk about it. Franchise QBs that are suffering losses right now, and some are 0-2. Now, Tim, I'm going to just go through this right now. Either relax or panic. Joe Burrow, who sits at 0-2. Quick
I'm going to
fire.
say no panic. They improved from week 1 to week 2. They still have some knots to figure out. But I'll tell you what, if they don't get a win this weekend, then I'm hitting the panic button.
Okay.
Today I'm not going to panic, but they have to win this weekend.
Yeah, I say relax. Relax on that. No panic, no panic. Lamar Jackson sits at 0-2. For the first time I've ever seen a Baltimore Raven team 0-2 in my life. Relax or panic?
I'm going to relax on that for a minute, only because the rest of your division is not playing well. That's number one, right? The rest of your division, the Bengals are 0-2, the team you're really worried about. The Steelers are 2-0, but how long are they going to sustain what they are doing? The Browns are 1-1. You're not out of your division yet. This does give me panic, though. Your defense isn't playing nearly as well as a year ago. Lamar Jackson at this time last year only had 80 yards on the ground with 13 rushes and was 2-0. At this point in the year, he's got 21 rushes, 167 yards, and he's 0-2. We need to dial back Lamar Jackson using those legs. We need to get Derrick Henry more involved. We need to figure out how he fits in this offense, and you need to throw the ball to the receivers who I know are dropping a lot of balls. I saw some drops yesterday, but Lamar needs to stop running, and he did cut it down this past week. So I'm going to say relax, but they don't have too much longer to relax, in my opinion.
Here's another one. I'm going to relax on Lamar. Lamar wins like 75% of his games. They'll figure it out. I mean, it's just a matter of time. That right side of the line is real young. You need to find another weapon outside of Flowers. So some of those receivers have got to emerge and give Lamar some help. Now, AR5. This guy right now, huh?
I'm not going to panic on him. He's basically playing his rookie year all over again.
Okay, but a guy that is 49% completion, 3 touchdowns, and 4 INTs in the first 2 games.
Still not going to panic yet.
I'm going to give Anthony Richardson some grace. In fact, I'm going to give him grace all year just because I feel like this is truly his rookie year. Yeah. So I'm just going to relax. I mean, you guys were in a close game. You guys were in a close game last week. So you just got to find ways to get it done, okay?
Yes.
Matthew Stafford, the Rams, 0-2, and now Cooper Kupp is out. Now you've lost your top 2 receivers.
Top 2, Puka and Cooper Kupp. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I'm going to hit the panic button. Well, we got problems in L.A. if we're the Rams.
Yeah, you got problems in L.A. I definitely hit the panic button, but I'm only going to hit the panic button because it's one of our rivals. And so I want them to drown. No, I'm just not really drown because I'm a Stafford fan. I like some of the things McVay and them do, but right now I just don't think they needed that. They needed that win yesterday, and they got blown out. And now you're about to run into a pissed off 49er team.
Yeah, I got panic all.
Good luck, bro. Good luck, bro. Good luck. This next guy, Trevor Lawrence.
Bro, not only
0-2.
I'm jumping out of the airplane and I'm pulling the parachute. Trevor Lawrence wasn't worth the contract. Hell! I'm in full panic mode down in Jacksonville because the way that the Texans are playing, they own that division, period. You don't have a chance. I'm out on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence as a whole, which I was a year ago. So I'm going to panic. Panic!
It's time to hit the panic button, brother. It's time to hit it all the way. I don't think they won a game since like last November.
Yeah, it's been a minute because they had that.
And they started out at what, like 8-1?
Started out great, and then they went downhill, and it continues in 2024.
Yeah, you got to hit the panic button, man. They don't look well, though. They did play. I mean, they played tough. I mean, Trevor's not just completely screwing it up right now, but I just don't see franchise QB with him.
No.
Besides his stature, I mean, he had 46% completion. That's not a $55 million quarterback.
No, it's not. Give that money back.
Yeah, you take something back. Shit, I'm like, hey man, we're gonna have to duck your sign on or something because it's not looking good. And the last one who is 0-2 is Will Levis. Let me take this. Panic. Hit the freaking panic button. He is not the guy I thought he was.
He's not an NFL quarterback.
Stop eating mayo and get some salsa.
He doesn't do it. It's not that he can't play the position because he can. He makes some plays.
Yeah.
But it's the turnovers and the way he turns the ball over and some of the dumb decisions that he makes. Honestly, there's times he just looks like he doesn't belong on an NFL football field. And I'm panicking full on.
Full panic mode.
We can't draft a quarterback in Tennessee. That's what we're learning. We can't draft a quarterback in Tennessee.
Nope, not at all.
No.
Tanny Poo, come back. We miss you. We miss you.
They just keep missing on every single quarterback. So.
They will forever be haunted by Steve McNair.
Yeah.
You should have never let him go to Baltimore, and then he won MVP the next year. Like, I'm sick of it.
It's not good.
Well, here we go, man. Now we stop talking about the negative and give the positives.
A little
on fire segment, brother.
Yes,
what you got for your on fire segment? I got one guy and one guy only.
I've got three of them. I've got three guys in here. The first guy, Kyler Murray.
K1 is back.
Once again, he was amazing this weekend. 3 touchdowns, 17 for 21, 263. The game was never in doubt, right? Marvin Harrison had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, which is something his dad never even did.
No. His dad did do it. I hate to cut you off. Yes.
So he is the only player. So what was it? There was something he did.
So he's the only player in NFL history that came in as a rookie with 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. His first 2 catches. It's the same as his dad.
Okay. Oh,
that's kind of cool. It's the same. His dad was the only one to do it. Okay. That's really cool.
I must have misheard that yesterday.
Yeah.
I've got Baker Mayfield, and it's not because of his passing numbers were incredible because he was efficient, 12 for 19, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. It was the way he put the team on his back going into Detroit. He carried the ball for a touchdown. He ran for a big 3rd down. The Lions beat them last year in the playoffs, don't forget. This was a revenge game for Baker Mayfield. I felt like to go in there with that team and beat the Detroit Lions at home, that was impressive to me. So that's why I put him in there. And then Derek Carr. Again, he doesn't have overblown numbers, but all of his stats came in the first quarter, first half of that game. 11 of 16, 243, 2 touchdowns. Again, the word is efficient. And he came out and he outplayed us. He outplayed Dak. He outplayed the Cowboys defense. And he was clearly the better quarterback on the field that day. And he's been good for 2 weeks in a row. So we got to give Derek Carr some love. What you got?
Absolutely, man. I think the one and only Kyler Murray was the one that I think stole the whole week 2 show for people that continue to doubt him. Now, granted, Call of Duty's not out, so I get it. Right now, he's going to play on fire. He was on my fantasy team, 42 points. But here's what I really love. My man was 80% completion with a subpar offensive line and only took 1 sack. So you rookies who say you don't have anybody, right? You've got to get rid of the ball on time. And if a kid who's literally maybe 5'10" can do it, so can you. Now, all 3 of those guys aren't the freakish athlete that Kyler Murray is, but it just goes to show when you throw in rhythm, when you throw on time, when you're in sync with things. I mean, even when he took off and ran, he ran 5 times, but he averaged 11.5 a carry.
Oh, that's what he does. I mean,
dude,
Kyler's special.
He's gonna torch us. He's gonna torch us. I know he is.
Arizona might win that division this year.
They might, but I think right now, man, kudos to K1, man. People just killed him said he wasn't an NFL quarterback. His head wasn't in it. You know, I think he did phenomenal. He was one of the only quarterbacks that had a 98 rating this week. There were several quarterbacks, like you mentioned, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield's historic, comeback as well to beat the Lions in Detroit, former playoff game. I think some of these guys are playing high-level ball, but we wouldn't – God, I got to give this thing to Sam Darnold too. Honorable mention.
And he did throw a 97-yard touchdown.
I think what he's doing right now, I'm so happy. I'm happy to see it. I mean, even though I don't like the loss, as a Niner fan, but, man, can't help but root for the kid and a whole fresh start for him.
Yeah,
so
I'll throw in Justin Fields too, 2-0.
Yeah, Jay Fields, 2-0. No turnovers either. No turnovers. Zero turnovers. You're not
asking him to set the world on fire. You're asking him to win games, and that's what he's doing.
Your job is to win, quarterback. And we got to think about C.J. Stroud too, man. Back-to-back weeks, very consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him go through about 2 quarters last night where he wasn't able to do anything. So
that Bears D-line is different.
Fire.
Right.
But he did play well enough to win, and he made a lot of big throws and big-time moments, completed a lot of big-time third-down throws.
Right.
Which is huge.
Now it's time for the garbage juice segment.
Beep, beep, beep. We know who lives and owns the garbage juice.
Garbage Juice Hall of Fame.
Hey, we've got some breaking news. I don't know if you've even seen this yet, Brandon. Bryce Young, who was 18 for 26 for a mere 84 yards this weekend, has been benched in favor of Andy Dalton for the upcoming game for the Carolina Panthers. I think this is long overdue. I don't think Bryce Young should have started last year. They probably should have pulled the pin on him a year ago. Him and Will Levis, to me, look like Make-A-Wish quarterbacks. Like guys that they just grab from the stands and say, hey, you want to play some quarterback today?
Make-A-Wish?
Both of them. But it's just bad, man. It's the 84 yards. 84 yards in an NFL game? 84 yards? I called this when they drafted him first round. I said he's not a first-round quarterback. He may not even be an NFL caliber player. He threw for 84 yards, and he's benched for Andy Dalton.
He's got a quarterback rating of 8. Damn it. Oh, my gosh.
Terrible.
I wouldn't say he's terrible, man. He's just is still too fast right now. And just like for him, man, he stepped into a messed up situation, though he's trying to clean it up. But, brother, you got to learn to hit people on time. Like, you've got to throw in rhythm. Once again, a younger quarterback will struggle to throw in rhythm. I mean, Anthony Richardson threw 3 picks, but we're not killing him, right? Again, to me, I feel like it's just a growing period, and I feel having Andy Dalton in the seat. Now, you still want to laugh, but damn it, 8? Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
8? Come on, brother. Like right now it's now I will give him this. He was 69% completion, even though he only had 84 yards.
Oh, good for him.
I mean, but brother, you throw 26 times and you only got 84 yards. That is a huge problem. I mean, you're only averaging 3.2 a throw.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, just throw a swing route. Just throw a bubble screen. Like, yeah, man, throw a hitch. Like, oh, my Lord.
We got stuff.
BY.
I have Trevor Lawrence in there, 14 for 30, 220.
Oh, Lord.
No good. And Will Levis is in there, 19 for 28, 192, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and that terrible fumble.
I got 2 rookies in there, too.
See, I'm not putting any rookies in the garbage.
I got 3 of them. Caleb, and AR5, and Bo Nix. Stop turning the damn ball over. Throw the ball away.
That's fair.
Like, that's a good play sometimes. That's the only thing I'm going to knock you on. Like, turnovers are going to happen.
Yeah.
But what can we do? We can control that narrative. If it's not there, throw the ball away. There was 2 plays where Caleb threw the ball late. It wasn't on time. It's not in rhythm. Bo Nix, red zone turnover. Anthony Richardson, didn't really truly watch the game. I'm not going to bash him. I don't really want to bash any of these guys because I still feel like they're going through this process. It's a process that they got to get through. But T-Law, throw him in there. Yeah, 55, Mr. Million.
He's been here long enough.
Yeah, he's been here long. Those other 4 guys, man, you're still learning and growing. That's all.
So, Brandon, I didn't get to see as much football as I usually would because I didn't have access to my ticket being at the hotel there in Houston waiting to get over to the game. But we did have a Brady moment yesterday. You brought it up. I want you to describe and paint the picture for the folks of Geno Smith's Brady moment yesterday. Tell us what went down.
I mean, 8 plays, 71-yard drive, and set it up to win against the Pats. I'm not going to go so super detailed, but Geno has done this. And last year, this is his 7th fourth-quarter comeback, and it just happened to be in overtime. Right? He would have had another one last year against the Rams, but they lost, unfortunately. But, man, everybody hates on Geno sometimes, man, just thinking he's just a mid-tier quarterback. But I think he throws one of the prettiest footballs in the entire league. I've always said that about him.
Seattle?
I think he has. I really think he has. Now, is he going to be a bridge quarterback? Yes, he is. But I think right now, with the money situation being what it is, I think you have a solid quarterback that can deliver the mail. He's got a great arm. He can play in cold weather games, rainy games. But, you know, the 8 plays, 71-yard drive, you know, to win against the Patriots, get the W on the road. That was a tough win there. But, man, it just goes to show, man, Geno's been through a lot of adversity. He's learned a lot from veteran quarterbacks such as Eli Manning, along with backing up Phillip Rivers and Russell Wilson in his prime. Just goes to show, man, he takes advantage of his opportunity. I have nothing but great things to say about Geno. And he's in our division. We're going to kick his ass. But right now, enjoy your W, my brother.
Yeah, I think Seattle's got a lot of problems, a lot of deficiencies on the team, and Geno Smith isn't one of them. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's
pretty darn good, man.
I think Seattle should let him ride that out, and they should start building some pieces.
I agree.
Particularly on that defense for him. I like Geno Smith. I don't know that there's too many quarterbacks available that are better than Geno Smith.
West Virginia's finest.
We like Geno. Big Geno.
Geno.
So tonight, now you're headed to New York. We may or may not put out a Tuesday takeaway. It just depends on Brandon's schedule tomorrow. But, you know, really and truly, this isn't a game I don't think either of us would be jumping through hoops to talk about anyway. The Falcons take on the Eagles. It's the Bird Bowl.
The Birdie Bowl.
Hurts versus Cousins. Wow, you know, neither look good in week 1. And
stop capping. Jalen Hurts is all right.
No A.J. Brown this weekend or tonight on Hurts, which I think changes the story for the Eagles. Now, Saquon Barkley is still going to dress for the Eagles, and Kirk Cousins, again, didn't have a great day last week. What are you looking for tonight in this Falcons-Eagles game?
Efficiency, because I don't see it too much with any quarterback this year, especially when it comes to the veteran quarterbacks. I need to see efficiency. I need to see you sustain third downs. I need to see Kirk Cousins get in a rhythm. I think that is going to really help him get back acclimated to what's going on. If we so happen to see the same performance like we saw last week, they're going to pull the plug, and they're going to eat that contract. Mark my words.
So we could see a Michael Penix sighting as early as this evening. Are you calling that?
I'm not saying this evening. I'm saying within the first 2 quarters of the season, first half of the season. This is a huge game for Kirk Cousins, and he struggles versus the Eagles historically.
I think the Eagles are the better team, hands down. I think they're the better roster, better team. They're at home. This game could get out of hand, in my opinion. I don't want it to. I want the Eagles to lose as a Cowboys fan, but I don't think it's going to happen. I said that I thought the Eagles would win the division this year. I'm going to stick with that notion. I think they're going to win, and I think they're going to win handedly tonight, even without A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I got the Eagles in this, man. I got the Eagles in this, but don't be surprised if the Falcons defense shows up, man. They got a lot of talent. They do, but I'm just really concerned about Kirk Cousins and him just getting back acclimated. After Achilles tear. You know, the thing about Rodgers is Rodgers came back and looked pretty good.
He did.
But he had a lot more time than he had a lot more time than Kirk Cousins. So do I feel it's a little bit of a rush back on Cousins? I do. I feel it's a little bit forced. I do feel it's forced, right? Because didn't he get hurt in like week 8, week 9?
It was late in the season.
It was late. Like he was having an MVP year. He was looking great.
You also have to consider that Rodgers was there last year with the team. So as far as learning the offense, there is no learning curve.
Right.
Learning your teammates, there's no learning curve. He had a whole offseason with those guys last year.
Well, he knows this offense, man.
But he doesn't know his personnel.
Right. Zach Robinson is his offensive coordinator. He's come from the tree of McVay. If you don't remember, McVay and Shanahan, they were all together with Washington. So really, and McConnell, so they really got the same type of offensive structure, which they probably feel more comfortable with Cousins running because of his longevity and experience. But this is going to be something that we look back on, this particular game right here. If Kirk Cousins struggles, they're going to pull the plug soon, man.
Bold prediction.
I'm telling you. Go
All
back
right.
and watch it. Copy it. Save it. Look it up. I'm telling you, if he struggles, do not be shocked. And Penix, I got you on my bench in IR now in Dynasty.
That's not
So
bad.
I will pull the trigger.
That's not bad.
Now, because you got to think, man, it's just a new wave. It's a new wave. Maybe guys gravitate a little bit more towards Penix. He's probably doing work on the scout team. He's probably doing everything he can. He relates to the guys. Kirk Cousins is a little bit outdated now. He's more of a traditional quarterback.
Kirk Chains, man. What you mean?
Nah, it ain't Kirk Chains right now. He's just looking like old Kirk Cousins from Michigan State.
No.
I need him to turn up. But, man, I like Kirk Cousins, man. He's a baller. I just really hope that, he has an efficient game and he doesn't just look like he did last game, man, because that was a disaster.
It was bizarre.
I haven't seen him play like that in a long time.
No.
Like, man, who is this guy? So we'll see.
So
Week 3 matchups. What you got?
That'll put a bow on week 2. Week 3 matchups, I've got some games in here. I've got Houston versus Minnesota, I think is going to be a big one. Both teams are 2-0. Both quarterbacks playing well. Both defenses playing well. The question is going to be for Minnesota, can Justin Jefferson play? Or is he going to be out? He was seen being helped off the field last night at the end of the game. So I've got that one. Let's just kind of go off each other. What's a matchup that you've got?
I got one matchup I'm waiting on.
That's
Purdy
it, huh?
versus Stafford. That's it. Purdy versus Stafford.
I don't even
Rams
have that
versus Niners, baby.
Okay. Well,
Same.
I don't have that listed,
Rams.
I don't have that listed because if you're not a 49er fan or a Ram fan, you're probably not going to watch that game because Cooper Kupp's not playing, Puka Nakua's not playing. This game should be an easy one for you.
We need a dub, but we'll find a way if it's close to fuck it up.
I do want to see an NFC West team play this weekend, and that's the Lions versus the Cardinals. Can the Arizona Cardinals beat a playoff team from a year ago? I think this game shows us how real the Cardinals are, right? Conversely, can the Lions put up a fight and coming off a big
Kyler versus Goff
loss? This is going to be a heck of a game. I'm excited to see that. And here's a game that I put in here just because if the Bengals don't win this, it could be Dunsky for them for the year. The Bengals, Washington. Washington has, they're 1-1. The Bengals 0-2. If the Bengals, I feel like, don't win this weekend, it's kind of over for them. But the big game of the weekend, and the game that everyone's going to be watching, because everybody loves to talk about these two quarterbacks, the Ravens versus the Cowboys. Both teams both teams are looking for an offensive rhythm. Neither team's defense have lived up to what they were supposed to be this year. This game could send one team on a run and one team falling into a downward spiral of obscurity for the rest of the year. So this game is a huge fork in the road for the Ravens and the Cowboys at 3:30, Fox's game of the week, I believe.
Is Tom Brady calling that game too?
I don't know. You know
Where's
what?
it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
It's here in Dallas.
And how many times have you seen Lamar Jackson?
I've never seen him live.
No. How many times have the Cowboys? Yeah.
They haven't played him very often.
They're about to get penny rolled, bro. I'm sorry.
Could be, but I don't know because
I'm sorry, Tim.
Your guys aren't playing so good right now either.
I'm sorry, Tim.
The Ravens.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm
Lamar
sorry,
Jackson
buddy. I'm
not playing very well.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Just so
We'll talk about his explanation next week of what went wrong.
They are the 3:30 game on Sunday, so make sure you tune in. I'm sure that is a Tom Brady game, and that to me that's going to be the game of the week that everyone's going to tune in.
Oh, for sure, everybody's going to lock into that one.
All right. Well, hey, man, this has been a lot of fun, Brandon. I really like the way, our new flow of this show and our new segments. I hope you guys are liking it, particularly the college stuff. I really like, bringing that into the mix. But that's going to do it for this week's of the QB Huddle podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and make sure you comment. Make sure you get in there.
Yeah, talk your noise, man.
Yeah.
We love it.
What don't you agree with? What do you want us to talk about? What are we missing out on that you want to hear about? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Franklin, a.k.a. New Era Media. Thank you, Mark Watson, Sean Twix Edwards, for our social media content. Until next week, folks, keep those chains moving.
See you.